guests here with me. We have Meltem Evmez from Rise with Meltem on Instagram, and we have Andrea Plakaitis, who is a member of our intuitive healing community and has been a member, I believe, for at least 2 years, right, Andrea? Yeah. And Rise with Meltem. Meltem is one of our coaches, our support coaches in the membership. She has been supporting and on the back end does so much organization for the coaches. And so I am super stoked to welcome the both of you to our very special YouTube Live. Welcome, welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. It's so
Thank you.
nice
It's so
to meet
nice to
you.
meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to have you both here. So let's talk. I mean, Meltem, you've been on a coach, a support coach, but you've also been a member before without being a coach, right? What's it like having these two different experiences for you?
It's wonderful. It's absolutely like something I love to do. And I remember the first time I joined the membership, I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to be one of the support coaches there. They're amazing. And look, after like 2 years,
Two
I
years,
think.
I think.
Yeah, after 2 years, you went through Rise Up and you're in
Mhm.
Soar Higher, and you're one of our support coaches who is on the side of like helping people answer questions. Tell me what that's like for you as a support coach, and then I'm going to go to Andrea, who's an amazing member who asks such insightful questions. And I always love reading your questions because there's always something really interesting or a perspective that you like to ask about. So I'm going to switch over to you in a minute, Andrea.
Yeah, so it's been amazing. Like, when you get in there, you see all the questions from the members, and it's really, I feel very honored to be able to answer them, because like I feel, especially like these questions are health related, everything related that we're going through, especially with chronic illness or other issues we have. So they're very personal, and it's and also very insightful, like to see what like other people kind of with different conditions react, and what their questions are, what they're struggling with. And there are a lot, like there's a pattern as well with questions, like especially with someone who starts new, or yeah, or is doing like the protocols for a little longer time. So it's very interesting to see, and for me it's a amazing way to get to know the members, but also to and connect with them. I feel like it's also very special, um, and also for me to learn more deeper, like as a, because I'm also like a health coach, and also for me, like from a personal practice, to understand more the deeper issues that people are going through it with everyday lives.
It's a jumping in and immersing yourself in the life of the chronically ill. I think when you become a coach and in membership, especially because the questions are hundreds of them in a week sometimes, right? So, Andrea, tell us about why you joined membership in the first place. Like, how did you come across it? Why did you join it?
So I
So I
always
always
followed you
followed you.
on Instagram, or, the more I dove into MM, you just kept popping up, and I had never worked with you one on one. So during Christmas 2 years ago, my family and I got the plague, and you were the only practitioner that I knew, MM, at the time, who was just putting out so much free content on Instagram and lives, and you just supported the community from your heart. And oh my God, it saved me, because I truly didn't know what to do. And I was into MM, but I hadn't even had celery juice yet. Like, I did everything really slow. And I really was so touched by your kindness and just everything you kept. You truly wanted to help. So you did all this free stuff, but in membership that January, you said, you announced saying, I'm doing a call specifically for the plague. If you haven't joined yet, you might want to consider. You can do it for the month, you could do it for the year. And I was like, I am joining this second. I'm doing it for the whole year, because just this little free content gave me so much insight. So I joined. And that call changed everything because we were really sick and my kids and I were okay, but my husband was the one that was like getting worse and worse and worse. And you just guided us so nicely, just through the call. And so since then, I'm hooked, but I get so much out of it. Even if you don't join the live calls, which I try to every month, the replays are amazing. Even if you just get one piece of information from a call or a question, like that's more than you can gain in like a year of school. So that's how I started the membership. And it's just so valuable to me that I just keep rejoining every year. And like I said, you add such nice content every time. And even if it's a topic that I wouldn't even think about that would benefit, it always benefits me. So, or even a family member or, whoever I can say, oh, did you know that this is because of that? So that's how I joined. And yeah, I'm here.
Well, thank you for sharing such a powerful, experience of receiving help. And that's what we want to do for everybody because there are so many people just like you were lost on the journey, not really knowing where to go. And it's daunting, I think, to try and figure it all out on your own. I think
Oh,
I go back, right? Because I mean, I go back when the first book came out, and I think, okay, if I had one book, I'd be okay. But now there's 8 books. How
I
does that
know.
make you feel if you had to figure all that out from scratch?
Right.
Right.
And
And
I
true.
haven't gotten through every single page of every book yet. So it's just so helpful to have this community and you guiding, just giving such like wealth of information for those who don't have the time to sit and read it, and I don't know, it's just so amazing. And at the time, you could only get help if you signed up for like an appointment or a consultation, and not just with you, with whoever was willing to help. But it was like a few months or weeks out, and I'm like, I need this right now. I can't wait a few weeks. So
Yeah, especially for acute situations, it can be really helpful to have just a forum to come to. And that's where, I mean, the coaches do such a good job of, Meltem's behind the scenes, making sure
oh
questions are getting
yeah,
answered.
and on the
And on the
forum
forum,
thing, even just
even
now, I
just now, I
started
started
uh,
uh,
mono cleanse
mono
for the
cleanse for the
first time,
first time,
and I was
and I
really
was really
nervous.
nervous.
And
And
thank
thank
God I
God
had
I
a forum because I could truly ask day by day questions, and you get answers instead of waiting for it's not anything like, oh my God, I need to go to the emergency room. It's just questions that you need guidance on, that I'm going through this cleanse kind of alone, but I'm not alone because I have the support of the forum.
Yeah, that's cool to hear. I love hearing the perspectives of how people have used the tools in the membership and what it feels like on the other side because you try to imagine, what it would be like for the people who really need the help. And we're always thinking about ways to make it easier to navigate. And you look at it from the perspective of, okay, we're putting it out, but the people who are receiving it on the other end, how do they kind of navigate that? What would you say, Meltem, is when you remember, what was like the one thing that was like stood out to you the most as a member when you joined?
Like for me was I remember the teaching call. I signed up. It was the month about nerves, how to heal nerves, and everything about it. And I was so blown away. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is this for real? Am I really getting all these information right now? Like because like they were not. I mean, the books were there. It was 2020, I think, and but like the way you put the information together, I would have never, like came across his conclusions and everything and what to do and how to focus on, and also giving the perspective of how long it takes to heal certain conditions, because back then it was yeah, you have the information, but there were so many questions. Like, I'm doing this for 2 years. Why is it not getting better? Is it ever going to get better? And I remember during a teaching call, you were giving this amount of information, and I've understood really what was going on, and also what I had to do to really, if I want to heal my conditions, how deep I have to go. And that was like really for me. I knew, okay, I found my place, and there's nothing else out there I feel like could support me with it. And yeah, and I'm really happy and grateful to still be a part of it.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Meltem. Yeah, I feel like I never want to take people away from the books. The whole goal is to bring people back to the books and back to the books and back to the books because all the information is in the books. I do believe that people sometimes are not connecting all the pieces that they've read or, are not seeing the full picture of their health. Andrea, has it helped to fill that out for you, like that fuller picture? That's what we want to do is to help people see that bigger picture.
Definitely. Just being on the cleanse right now, because I'm still doing it. And anything you bring to the table, I remember some things I have to reread and reread in the book because I'm like, wait, can I have honey on the cleanse? So I have to, of course, I read it, but I don't remember it. So you don't remember every detail. So I find myself rereading chapters over and over, especially if right now on the cleanse, I'm reading Cleanse to Heal, like the mono cleanse chapter inside out, like 2 times, just so I don't miss anything. But then when you mention something or someone in the forum, Malcolm's been amazing with me on the forum. Oh my gosh, she's been such a blessing because she's truly, I was told, she's the mono cleanse expert. So I was like, I need to talk to her immediately. And she's been, with the time change and everything, just replying with all my questions and just support. So yeah, I do go back to the books, but this is just invaluable to bring or melt any of the coaches.
Yeah, I mean, piecing everything together and applying it, I think there are people who, I think when I think the people that we get a lot in the membership are often who've tried the protocols for a while, then they get stuck and they don't know where to go and they don't know what to do. And it's definitely less expensive for 1 month to join membership than to book a private appointment. I know it doesn't work for everybody, but for most people, you can get some really cool, clear answers on where you're struggling in membership because it's succinct, it gets to the point. You can get direct help. Some people think that, oh, it's just a general information forum. I'm like, no, you get personalized personalized support like for each individual question, and our goal is to answer every single one. So yeah, have you been in other memberships before, Andrea? Have you ever tried anything like this before?
I mean, not truly like this. I've done courses with certain practitioners that were really helpful, but it might be a week or a 4 week course, um, which is nice, but this is just, it's like you're on call. It's like you have a group of medical medium doctors or practitioners, or, it's like you have someone on call all the time. And you may not get an answer within 10 minutes, but you might, and that's the thing. You can't expect immediate responses, but sometimes you do get them. So I feel truly like so blessed because it's kind of like an on-call service. I even asked a simple question the other day. What can I replace mayonnaise with? I don't need to book a one-on-one consultation for that, but someone answered it right away. And you get questions and answers based on simple things like a recipe, or how do I heal this fungus, or what can I topically put on it for now? Like it's just so broad, but you truly get so much out of it. So I love it. I love that I can ask if I'm awake at 2 in the morning. I ask a question sometimes because I just think of it. You know, I love it.
Thank you, thank you. No, you do. I always say you ask very insightful questions. I'm always reading your questions with interest. I'm like, what is her question at the end? What's it going to be? And you're always asking about how to apply it for your family, which is interesting because then we're trying to adjust it to you, right? So, yeah. And so Meltem, like wearing a different hat now. I should take Andrea's hat, right? Wearing a different hat as a practitioner and as someone who's supporting people in membership. What do you sort of learn the most? What has been your biggest learning? How do you feel? How do you feel? And you've been doing it for a while now. So how do you feel you've gotten better at meeting people's needs in this format, in this forum?
Yeah, I think like for me is like to not just okay, there's a question, but there's most of the time there's a lot more information needed to really answer the question to the need. Where I feel like okay, that the member can use that my answer to really move forward. So it's more about like okay, also be like an investigator asking questions back, like okay, so like you have the symptoms for how long do you have it, etc., etc. What are your symptoms overall, or what food, like what is your protocol, because we know every the protocols are for everyone different, and it's like most of the time there is more behind it than what like the first question was for someone. And then like with Andrea, I love it, like we had this about her monoclone, so we was writing back and forth, and then we came, yeah, like okay, there's maybe something that we haven't looked at, or how can we make it better. So it's also like more like an interaction. And like for me, that's a huge like learning experience, like not just to see like okay, what are the symptoms, like no, what actually has been going on in your life. Maybe you have yeah, a new book or something else, and that makes it like very exciting for me. Like I love that part actually, to really dive in and investigate and find out what is truly going on and support them with the best possible answer to it.
It is quite exciting. Do you remember the excitement we all had when the brain books came out? And we were like, did you read this? Did you see that? Did you like catch this section? And we were all kind of sharing back and forth with each other what like the kind of really mic drop. There were so many mic drop moments in that book, right? But I think as a group, because we learn together, we do the book club, and we're constantly invested in each other's learning and if you could call it like the continuing medical medium education in a way, and deepening into it. And I think that somebody said this comment, 8 books we would need to read 30 times each to become an expert. And I would agree with that. I feel like I've read probably chapters of certain things like 20, 25 times, but I don't still feel like I'm an expert at all. Like, there's certain topics which you just keep diving in and keep diving in because you're like, I don't quite feel like I understand it 100%. But that's like our commitment, right? Is to continue to help us learn so that we can help all of you learn, and to help you apply it to your health and to your family so that you can actually move the needle. That's the whole point, is closing that gap between what is already available and freely available for people in the books, and closing that gap between, okay, like I've read it, I understand it, but I'm confused. I'm not sure where to start, because it can be super overwhelming, because it's not one size fits all. Finding what size fits you specifically, it takes a little tweaking, trial and erroring to really figure it out. So yeah.
Yeah, now just also
Go ahead.
that like learning from you and being like how you always make sure that we are like good coaches and good support coaches, and you guide us through that process. And it's also like it's a very big value for us, like all support coaches, because like it's also like yeah, being trained by you, like, and being supported by you, and the other ones as well, who bring a lot of value up to other support coaches. So it's been really great and a blessing.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Andrea, what were you going to say?
I was just
I
gonna
was
say,
just gonna say,
love
love,
um, how this information and you all guide us to tap into our own intuition, and we have you kind of like as valid verification of what we are feeling. So I like getting the intuition from other coaches too. Like I love just exploring how one coach will answer and another one will tap into it too. Like I just love how everyone's intuition has just skyrocketed, and then we validate our own through your guidance, you know. I love that.
I love that you just shared that. That, we really want you all to develop your own intuition, because that's what it's all about. Like, we're not the people who know. It's, we're not the ones who know everything. We can help you to know your body better, to understand your body better, to learn your body better, to and to really think about, like, is this the issue that you might have going on, or have you thought about this issue? And I think that's what the coaches can really bring to the table, is these other elements that sometimes, what can happen. I notice a lot, like, people will say, oh, I have, like, Hashimoto's, or I have lupus, or I have rheumatoid arthritis. They open the book to that chapter and they read that chapter and they apply that chapter, which is fine and good, and that's a great way to approach it. But then when they're not moving forward, sometimes they're not realizing that there's these other pieces, like adrenals, or understanding the strength of your liver, or understanding the strength of your overall immune system, or anything like that. And how important those other pieces can be to your overall actual diagnosis, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's almost like you're watching a movie unfold. Like the more we learn, when others who are not on medical medium start feeling symptoms, and you're like, well, what is your lifestyle like? Or, what did you eat in the last month? It's so amazing how you kind of like, you put the puzzle together, but it's not like you're guessing what's going to happen, but you kind of almost know what's going to happen now, because the way he explains it in the books and the way you guys answer our questions, it's like, oh, that's why this now led to this disease or that symptom. It's just amazing to just watch everything unfold. And by what we've learned, we want to help those who are ready, because you can't help whoever is not wanting to. So, and I think we all go through that, and that's our struggle. We want to just share this with the world, but it's kind of like a secret world that we can't talk about unless people are ready for it. So once they are, it's like, wait, I know what's going on.
Yeah, it's really cool that you even feel so called to share this work and this information that can help so many people heal, and so can change lives, literally, right? That's what's
Yeah.
happening here. It's changing people's lives. And um you know being able to, like, finally share with someone and give them a solution. I think every coach also feels the same way. They're like, oh my gosh, I just want to, like, unleash all this knowledge that I have and share and give them all the tools and let them, like, make decisions, and that kind of thing. So, I mean, we also have to, I'm always telling the coaches to actually to hold back. I'm like, you got to know more information, because you can easily flood someone with and overwhelm them. But if you
Yeah.
get more information about what they have going on in their life and in their body and other symptoms, and ask all the deeper questions, then coming up with a recommendation is easier, right, Malcolm? Have you tried this? Does it work?
Yeah, absolutely. It works so much better, and I feel also better because I feel like, okay, with a few piece of information, which will definitely move them forward or out of their situation, is more valuable before I'm putting everything like, okay, you have to do this and that, and then think like they feel overwhelmed because it's too many steps to bring in, and that's why we also encourage them now to see like, hey, try this, and then come back if anything changes or you have more question or after you applied it, and that's actually what's happening now more, where I also see, maybe because like I'm more in it now, but that, yeah, like people like the members are starting to share more about, oh, now this happened and after I did this, and so different coaches know already what's going on with certain members. So
Members. So
it's beautiful to see.
yeah, and also as like I know individual members come in and have this experience of like, oh, like I'm learning from one support coach answered my question, but actually all of us are seeing all of it, right? We're all reading the responses, we're invested in it. There's a lot of conversation that happens behind the scenes about people's questions because sometimes one person's like, look, I think I know the answer, but I'm just wondering, can you help me out here? Is this the full thing? I want to say this. Would anybody add anything else to this? And then people are like, oh yeah, no, this is good. Maybe you could add that. Remember, Anthony said this here because I think there's so many lives that there's no way for one person, I think, to recall. I mean, it's prolific, right? And on so many platforms. So each of us holds, I think, parts of it where like, oh, like, remember that live? He did talk about this. He did say this. And we're like, okay, which one is it? And we find the reference. And so having like a group to do that with is so fun from a professional standpoint, but also kind of, I hope the members can feel that, you know, it's not just this individual, right, that who's trying to help you, but it's like our whole team is trying to help you.
Yeah, when I ask questions, I tag certain admins just because, sometimes I just pick, and then sometimes when you read their bio, you're like, okay, they're in this area, let me tag them. But I have tagged a few, and their response was not a reply to me, but tagging another admin that I hadn't tagged, who there will reply. So they help each other. Like, and that happened with Meltem. When I posted for the first time about the Mondo cleanse, I hadn't tagged her, but I think Nina tagged her and said she's the Mondo cleanse expert. And then that's how our conversation had started. So I'm so thankful that you all read questions. And as a member, I read other people's questions too, because I'm learning and I might be going through that too. I just didn't think to post it. So, that's really, really valuable to me.
Yeah, we do learn from each other's questions, right? Even when you don't, I mean, when you're listening to the live call, you only get to ask one question per month. So when you're listening to that call and there's Q&A going on, I think everyone has an opportunity to learn from, say, someone's talking about shingles, but you don't have shingles symptoms, but someone's talking about how painful it was for them, just learning about the adrenaline associated with that and how to structure your supplementation. I mean, I hope that also through this process of answering questions that people learn how to put their own protocols together because that's what I want for people, right? Meltem's nodding because she's like, yes, people need to learn this, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I write stuff down when I can that you answer for other people. And it might not pertain to me like you said, but it might pertain to my son or my husband or for the future, like, oh, when I could have used that when I was pregnant, but now when my daughter gets pregnant 20 years from now, I'll remember that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
and I also, sorry, I wanted to add also, like, it's so beautiful what Andrea is sharing about, yeah, that knowledge, like, we take that over. And I also feel it's not, we learn that, like, it's really like learning that information. We become our own experts, like Anthony's always saying now in the lives, like with this being a part of the IHC, because, like, of course, with all the knowledge and the questions and how to answer it and how to apply it, it's yeah, it makes you really an expert. And I feel like it's also something, I feel like if someone also wants to help someone, like when you feel like strong enough and want to become a health coach as well, because like in the German IHC group, we also always say you have to be a part of IHC if you really want to be a good health coach, because we know, like, hey, this is real deep, goes really deep, the information, and then you know how to apply it and to work with it as well with others, not just for yourself.
that's really cool to hear. And also, I mean, I love that you shared that nugget about the German community. First of all, you guys are one of like my favorite communities ever. I love the German community. And I would say that, like, you know, Andrea, what you mentioned as well, like, oh my gosh, I'm saving this nugget of information for 20 years from now when my daughter becomes pregnant and needs it, right? That to me just blew my mind. I'm like, wait, I didn't even think of, um, that information lasting, so long, and that you're thinking of it from a legacy perspective. Whew, like, wow, that blew me away for a minute. I'm like, yeah, like, that's the kind of, that's what we want to create, is we do want to create a legacy. We do want to share with our own children. Because I was saying this, I think, actually, I was saying this at the German festival. I was speaking for a moment, and we were doing a prayer together with them. And one of the things I said is we have to start thinking about legacy. Our children, who's the next generation? Who is the next generation of people who are going to bring this to the world? Who's going to carry it forward? I mean, right now, all of us who are struggling and learning, and Anthony's alive and writing books, and we're living in this time is kind of surreal, but like we are. And then what happens like 100 years from now or 200 years from now? Like, we're going to need this information even more, or even like 50 years from now. How, like, just
I
thinking about
agree.
these pieces is just such a big deal to me.
And every day, I always say, my God, thank you, God, for letting me be alive right now. And these people are in my life. Just, I'm learning and I can pass it on. That's why I have to write it down because, I feel like my memory is not the best right now. With some things I do remember, but I just thank God that we are having this knowledge fed to us right now, and it works. I posted a picture the other day for Father's Day for my husband, and in the picture was me 2 years ago with my kids and my husband, and we were in the pool making like a funny face, like splashing. And I always had a tooth in the front that was crooked, and every dentist I went to, holistic or not, said you need Invisalign. I forgot about it. I looked at the picture just the other day and I'm like, my tooth isn't crooked anymore and I haven't done anything. And my family, I showed them the picture and I showed them my smile and they're like, what happened? It's truly a miracle because I haven't had Invisalign. I haven't gone to the dentist. All I've done is this lifestyle. And it just shifted and it went back into place. So after that, I just thank God every single morning when I wake up. Like, thank you for this information. Thank you for the knowledge. And thank you for letting me be alive right now because it's truly a blessing.
Muniza, you're muted.
Thanks. And welcome. Yeah, I forgot to unmute. But it's such a powerful testimony, Andrea. Thanks for sharing it, because you weren't even trying to heal that tooth, right? It wasn't like the main goal, but it's kind of like the side effect.
It was
It
something
was something.
that I wanted to fix, but I didn't want to put metal in my mouth. And Invisalign was kind of pricey. And I just forgot about it, truly. 2 years later, it's straight. It's not crooked anymore. I'm still blown away by it.
It's unbelievable. It really, really is unbelievable. I've had people report cysts disappearing, or, sunspots disappearing, stuff that they didn't even like focus on, that kind of disappeared, or hair grew in that they weren't expecting to, or that's not their focus. But the fact that I believe that when you start to heal truly from the inside out, you heal everything. It's not discriminatory, right? If you're starting to heal one aspect of your body, all the other aspects are going to get better. If you start to heal pain in your body, your adrenals are going to get better. Like everything is so interconnected. And for those of you watching, thank you first of all for being here. If you're new, if you're jumping on, we're talking to Meltem and to Andrea, who are both have been members. Andrea is a current member of the Intuitive Healing Community. You see that link on the QR code on the right side of the screen. If you want to know more, click into it. There's also an offer that we have right now for half year of membership. It is getting 6 months for the price of 5. So if you haven't jumped in on that and you'd like to know more about it, go ahead and jump in on that, because it's truly something we do only twice a year. At the beginning, we do the annual offer, and at the half year. So we're at the half year point and talking to some incredible members. And of course, Meltom's also one of our support coaches. What would you, if you had to share with somebody, like why they should join? Because I really just, you know, sometimes people will come on and share with me. It's like, why do you talk about it all the time? I'm like, oh my God, like if I feel like I could save one person's life, that would be enough reason. But then there's ability to save more. What would you want people to know? Why should you absolutely jump on this offer?
Um, I mean, it's so this is amazing. If you in MM or starting or wherever you are, this is the right place for you because like there is the community. You have the community. You're like, if there's anything going on in your life where you feel like, okay, maybe all of my friends or my family is not doing MM, maybe it's easier for you to jump off the wagon. This one will keep you there. But also, if you jump off the wagon, got off the wagon and want to get back, this is the right kind of support because this is like what I love. And this is like, especially, I remember that was also carrying me through in the beginning when I started. And I was doing MM for 2 years. And I healed my Hashimoto and a few other things, but my fibro symptoms weren't improving. My pain wasn't improving, and that's when I started to join membership, and then I to understand really what was going on, and also like there is like every week I think we have a call, like there's a teaching call, there is a live Q&A where you can ask Muneeza a question about your health, about the topic or whatever is going on. And she answers that live on the call. And then there's also like interviews. And so you have every week kind of a support, like how Anthony is going live. I feel like, and that is something that really strengthened my spirit and my soul to really maybe do a little bit more. I was seeing things that I was not doing yet and that wasn't moving me forward. And that's really got really clear. It wasn't getting that clear. Well, I was still like watching his lives or followed him on Insta. I was still reading the books. I was listening to all the radio shows. I was really hooked, but I still needed that support for me to really move forward. And that's why I feel like that's why I love the membership. I keep talking about it too, because like I feel like this is the right place for you, to get your support and without paying like so much money and not just because like a some people are saying like, okay, why I could get also like a health consultation with a practitioner. That's also great. But here you have the consistency. So, there's like one protocol, but after a while you have to adjust again. And maybe then you can also get the support here, how to adjust it. And so, yeah, I feel like there's no other, like for me, that's the best place to get also really good guided information and truthful persons with a lot of compassion. Everybody has a lot of compassion, and all of the support coaches have big hearts and they're there to support you. We know Muneeza does. She's giving all this amazing free content as well, but the membership is really like to dive in and get to the root of what is holding you back to reach your goal and be fully healthy.
Wow, Meltom, thanks. So you expressed that so well. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and to dive in and to get support now, right? Because when you're waiting for an appointment, you could be waiting a while, but getting support now sometimes can be really, really helpful. Andrea, what would you say why somebody should join ASAP? Don't wait, like you can really get help. What would that be?
Just the constant support. And you never know when things will pop up. Like, all of a sudden, someone in your life has high blood pressure and you can ask about it immediately, or what are tips to lower it, or just things pop up, things get thrown at us all the time. I have a new bug now, and is it a cold? Is it, I don't know. Like, what can I up my game with? Um, just you can ask anything, anytime. Questions about intimacy, questions about earth, questions about spirituality, angels, health, anything. And I love it. It's constant support. You don't feel alone. You're with people who believe in what you do. And the best part is there's no judgment about what you're asking or what you're going through, because everyone's on the same boat of we just want to feel amazing and good. And so we're here to help or support if we can't help. So it's just like these friends you don't even know you have. They're always with you, just ready to help. We're like a beautiful army of, not army, army's too strong, but like this beautiful group of healers or wanting to heal, you know? Just the support, the non-judgment, and constant on call support. That's the main thing.
Wow. That touched me so much. That's exactly what we wanted to create. So thank you for putting into such beautiful words. Both you and Meltem did such an amazing job of that. Um, and if you're interested, if you have a question, guys, ask me at support at muneezaahmed.com or membership at muneezaahmed.com for membership questions. Remember, we have an offer. You can even click the QR code on the right side of the screen. It'll take you right to the page. You can check it out. Hopefully we'll see you in there, because, don't wait to get help, because people I notice struggle for a long time sometimes before they're trying to figure it out, and get help from somebody and experts who've been doing this a while, who've seen a lot of people, who can maybe figure out your problem quicker than you can, because you got to read a bunch of books, or that you've read the books but you can't put it together. So don't wait. Come and get support, because that's what we're here for. That's what we're good at. And our new platform is even better than our old one. So like there's hopefully we've eliminated all the delays that people have had in waiting to get their questions answered because the notifications wouldn't work, the email wouldn't work, and hopefully that's resolved. And that's what we launched in July. So we're trying to make it better all the time for our members. And so thank you both for being incredible members and being part of my life. And I love having you both in my life and connecting with wonderful humans like you. You guys make my world so much better. And so do all the members. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Muneeza.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you both soon. I'm sure I'll see you in the internet lands, and have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Take care. Bye, Andrea. Bye, Meltem. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.